Hi everybody, I'm Mike, this is Budget Guns and Gear Reviews, and on this Woodsman Wednesday, we're going to take a look at how to set up a quick deploy shelter. In order to get your shelter into a quick deploy system when you need it, you're going to need to do some preparation ahead of time. Let's take a look at what you have to do. The most time consuming of this involves your cordage. First thing you have to do is take whatever cordage you're going to use, in this case it's paracord, and put a loop on one end. You can simply loop it over and then tie a knot if you really wanted to. Me, being me, I like to use the bowline. So I tie a quick bowline in one end of it. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. One left-handed or cowboy bowline. Next, you have to put two prusik loops on this. I'll show you how to make those. What I like to do is I like to cut 6 pieces of smaller cordage. Generally for me it's going to be bank line. About this long. 6 to 8 inches. It doesn't really matter. As I said, I like to take 2 of them. And I will just make a simple overhand knot in them just to get a loop. So here I have 2 loops. Okay? So when I've made my 2 loops, I will take the end of the paracord that I'm using as a ridgeline, the one that I have the bowline knot in, and I will turn these into prusik loops on it. In order to do that, you put it over the ridgeline, like so, and you loop it through itself twice. Then pull it tight. Dress it up so it looks like this. Let me do that with the other one. There's a reason you do this. You want these to be adjustable. And a prusik loop is adjustable when it's on a line. If you pull on the loop of it, it's not going anywhere. But if you go to the knot and you push it, you can adjust it wherever you wish. But if you pull, nothing. So this will allow you to have an anchor point for your tarp. So now that I've done that, I will slide these up to the end where my bowline is, and I will wrap my cordage in such a way that it's not going to tangle up. So in order to do that, I take the knot and the prusiks over in between my pinky and ring fingers and let that stay right there. Wrap it around my thumb, come up and over, up and over, up and over, up and over like this, until I wrap my cordage up. When I have some slack left over, I will then start to wind this slack around this coil. I'll wrap it. Then I will make an X and finish it with a clove hitch. Just keep everything neat and in place. Dress that up, tighten it up. Good to go. And I'll show you what this does here in a second. So now what we have to do is set up the tarp portion of this shelter so that it can be deployed quickly. And in this case, it's going to be this Arcturus 5x7 emergency blanket. This is not one of those thin Mylar space blanket things. This is thicker. It does have, as you can see, this one's camouflage, but you can get them in other colors, green, orange, which is good if you're intending this as an emergency kit for signaling purposes. But it also has a reflective side to it. And that's a good thing. So what we want to do is we want to take one of the long edges, one of the 7-foot edges, and we want to attach a couple of these loops to it. What I like to do is the same thing as I did to make the whatchamacallits. Yeah, prusik loops. Except this is all the farther I go with it. I just make a loop. And I take the loop and put it through the grommet and then back through itself. Because I don't like to stake out through the grommets. I like to stake out through the loop I just put in it. Let me do that with the other end. So you want to find a couple trees that are farther apart than your tarp is, and you want to pick one to be the anchor tree.
So you want to go about waist height on your first tree. You want to go waist height on both of them, actually. You want to take the end that has the prusiks and the bowline, wrap it around your anchor tree, slide your prusiks out of the way. Then you want to take a bite of your line and put it through your loop on the end. This will allow you to take a toggle that you've pre-cut and slide it through that bite and then adjust it tightly. That will hold everything in place and you'll be able to quickly remove it and get on your way whenever you're done. Now, whenever I'm done, talking there, you can go ahead and pull your line out, and because you've wrapped it the way I showed you, it's just going to slide smoothly until you reach the other side.
So when you get to the other tree, you want to go about waist high again, wrap it around, then form a trucker's hitch. Give yourself a little slack, make a loop, go on top, pull it through, pull towards the tree, and that's a trucker's hitch. After you put the free end of the rope through it. Now what you can do is put it through a second time. And crank on it. What this does is it allows you to draw it tight, and by putting it through the second time, it shouldn't come undone. But what we're going to do is make a little loop over top, pull it back through to form a bite, and then we're going to take another one of our toggles and pull this tight. So that's not going to come undone. Now we need to put these prusik loops to work. So what we do is we take one and slide it, leave it here. Take one, put it just about as far as our tarp goes. Now you take the long end that you did not put your loops in, and you put one of the loops from the prusik loops through it. And then you put a toggle in it. What I like to do then is just kind of pull it straight. So you can see here that the prusik loop goes through the grommet and has a toggle through it to keep it from coming back. So it will pull that way without coming out. Let's do that on the other end here. So now we go to our other end, do the same thing. We put the loop through the grommet, put a toggle through the loop, and pull it tight. So now what we have is our ridgeline strung between two trees with our tarp on it. Now we drive in the stakes at the two back corners and we're done. There we have our quick deploy shelter. So now that I have all my prep work done, I'm going to go ahead and set one of these up in real time. I'm going to time it to see how long it takes. So starting now. Done. Three minutes, 4 seconds from button press to button press. So from start to finish, it was even less time than that. It was under 3 minutes, including, you know, the walk from here to there and then the walk from there to here. So that's pretty quick, I think. So the key thing to take away from this is preparation. The better prepared you are ahead of time, the better you're going to perform at the time, just like with anything else. Get your loops set up on your tarp. Get your loops set up on your ridgeline and your bowline set up on your ridgeline. Cut some toggles and tent stakes as soon as you get to camp, or better yet, carry 6 tent stakes with you. You can get small aluminum tent stakes that don't weigh hardly anything, don't take up hardly any space, but would speed this up considerably. It's already pretty quick, so make it as fast as you can, because this is kind of an emergency shelter. This isn't something that you might want to take, I don't know, maybe you would want to take and be your main shelter when you're camping. I've done it. Did it in a 20-degree weather with that shelter right in that spot, as a matter of fact. You just have a fire in front of you and a browse bed to lay on to insulate yourself, and you're good to go. You might not be comfortable, but you'll be warm and you'll be alive, and that's really the point, isn't it? So I'm Mike, this is Budget Guns and Gear Reviews, and that was my Woodsman Wednesday look at a quick deploy shelter. If you like what you saw, please like, share, subscribe. Consider becoming a patron on my Patreon account, or hit the join button and become a channel member. You get cool perks and you help us out. And even if you don't want to join or you don't want to be a patron, that's cool too. You can still help the channel without costing you anything extra. Follow the links below to my Amazon store. Click on anything there. You don't even have to buy that. Go buy whatever you were going to buy anyhow. You don't pay anything extra, but I get a little piece of it because you came from my store. And even if you don't help us out, come on back to the next Woodsman Wednesday, because maybe we'll learn something together.